Hey guys, right now we're gonna have a look at Windows 10. Is it worth it? Microsoft's latest version of Windows, Windows 10, is set to fix the issues that Windows 8.1 and of course 8 had, as well as being an upgrade from Windows 7. Starting out with the upgrading process, I gotta say it was pretty straightforward for um, all those who reserved their copy of Windows 10. It's very easy as it'll download in the background and then you can install it whenever you would like it to. For all those interested in seeing how to reserve your copy of Windows 10, as it can be done anytime, including after today, up till July 29th, 2016, watch my earlier video, which will be right here. Once you've selected upgrade, it'll begin upgrading, it'll copy all of your files, and it'll reserve them. And after everything's said and done, you'll be into Windows 10, and all of your old files will be brought back over without any issues. Of course, if you want to make sure that absolutely nothing will go wrong, it might be smart to go ahead and back up all your stuff using a service such as Carbonite, or just backing everything onto an extra hard drive. Now then, once you get into Windows 10, the first thing that you may experience is a resolution error. Now, I had this where it was locked at 720p on my 1440p to display, and you couldn't change it in the display advanced options. Now, this is very common, which means you just need to update your graphics card driver, which I had to do manually by going to the site and installing it, and then doing a reboot, and voila! Full resolution. After that, everything seemed as it was on my old Windows 8.1, except, of course, with all the Windows 10 features, and let's go ahead and get into those, shall we? Now, the first thing you will notice is down here you have dun da 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 the start menu. No more start screen. Of course, if you wanted to, you could have the old Windows 8 or 8.1 start screen if you wanted, but why would you want that? Ah! I mean, here you have back to the classics of Windows 7 all the way back to Windows 8. It might have been a 95. Correct me if I'm wrong. But anyway, you can have a look at some of your most recent acts and go, of course, continue file, Explorer, and voila, all your stuff right there. You know, extra screen, no going back and forth, blah blah blah. It's all right there. And of course, with Windows 10, they've made it really efficient in going from a tablet to a desktop, so it's the same OS if it's on a tablet, a smartphone, or on, of course, a desktop or a laptop. Whatever you want, it'll all be the same, and of course, it'll adjust. You can go into tablet mode, which will uh, make everything more tablet friendly for a touchscreen. But if you have a keyboard docked, it'll immediately go back into desktop mode. Everything will be just the way it should, with a nice, and yeah. Now this is totally optional here. If you notice here, you can have these removed, so it's all the way down to here. So you just have this, just like in Windows 7, but it's totally up to what you want, which is cool. You have options now rather than the other one where you didn't. Also, there's no charms bar on the right, haha. And of course, down here on the right, you have your calculator, and you also have your volume rocker, of course, all that good stuff. And then, of course, here you can see your internet, and yeah, it's just, oh yes, and here you can see a variety of interesting things that's going on your PC, including Facebook and anything else really that you have going on within your PC. And also, of course, another star of the show, well, there are two, is Microsoft's most recent um, take on a browser. They have tossed out Internet Explorer, yay, but they kept the icon for some reason. But this is Edge. They could have picked anything else that wasn't any. But so Edge is their newest and the latest web browser. It's supposed to be the safest and fastest way to browse on Windows 10. Well, that is up for debate. It does make it very snappy, and I didn't have any issues. But of course, like a lot of you guys, I will be sticking with my Google Chrome. Ah. And of course, all the applications that I ordinarily use work out of the box with Windows 10, so that's fantastic. As far as Edge goes, they added some integration with Cortana, which I'm going to be talking about now. Cortana is the AI assistant that you will be having when you activate her here, and you can type or you can use a microphone to ask her stuff, and you know you can do web searches, you can ask information, you can ask her to remind you stuff. It's pretty much like Siri, except it's Cortana from Halo. So she even has a nice little personality, and the speech recognition works actually surprisingly well. Hi, Cortana.
Hi.
How are you?
Great, thanks.
Could you remind me at 3 p.m. to eat my lunch?
All right. I can remind you to eat my lunch at 3 p.m. today. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Great.
And she can do a lot of other stuff. Now, while this is really cool and handy just to have right here, it is more helpful being on a smartphone or, say, a laptop where, I don't know, it's more mobile focused. You can also ask her to search stuff, to play your music, to send emails, a variety of things, and of course to launch applications. And just, it's like Siri on your desktop, which I think is really cool. And also what they've added into Windows 10 is your Xbox app, which just allows you to access all your friends and the features on that you would have on your Xbox One or 360. And also it allows you to stream Xbox One games to your Windows 10 device. It would be a tablet, PC, or even phone, which is cool. But if you don't have an Xbox One, you're just like, yeah, sure, cool. They also added a new music app, which for a fee you can stream millions of songs across all of your Windows 10 devices, or you could add your own and access them across all of your Windows 10 devices. Very cool, right? Alright, so now then, after we've seen all this, let's get into, is Windows 10 worth upgrading to? Especially if you're interested in games. Now, I know a whole bunch of people are wondering, do games run on Windows 10? All my games that I have on Steam just not gonna work anymore. Well, in the short answer, they're gonna work fine. I tested almost all of my games in Steam, which I don't have a ton, but I do have quite a few, and I didn't have any issues whatsoever having them run. They ran like ordinary. There was a little glitch with the sound when starting up with a few, but that's just a minor kink that I'm sure will be worked out very shortly. This is a day one overview, so please keep in mind that some of the things I'm saying may not be happening by the time you're watching it, especially depending if a certain amount of time has gone by. So all these games ran exactly as they would in before, with zero issues, except for commandos behind enemy lines. When we attempt to launch this, which is a Windows 98 game, which did run on Windows 8.1, but by the way, when we go into launching it, we get this error, which is a shame, and I'm sure it will be fixed in the time to come, either through Steam or by a patch from in the community. So I'm not really concerned about that, but as of right now it doesn't work. But all of the other older games worked fine, like older Counter-Strikes, Half-Life, even Opposing Force, and yeah. Also Hitman, the older Hitmans, even Star Wars Jedi Knight Academy, all these works, which are also really old games. So I believe it's just with that specific game, and hopefully we'll see it being patched out. Yeah. So now on to what a lot of everybody is wondering: does Windows 10 make the games run smoother? Do you get a FPS boost from going from Windows 10, as a whole bunch of you did when you upgraded from Windows 7 to Windows 8.1? There's usually about a 10 frames per second increase in performance when upgrading from Windows 7 to Windows 8.1. Are we seeing that here? Benchmarks, and it may come as to a surprise to you, or it may come as no surprise that there wasn't really any performance gain or loss when doing them. They were almost the exact same. I was really surprised There was occasionally where one or two was like a point of a frame faster or slower than the other OS, but that's just up to the margin of error, so really wouldn't put anything past it. So on older the DirectX things, you're not going to see a gain with DirectX 11 and even 10 and 9, so I wouldn't count on you getting a huge FPS. You won't get any FPS boost if you're upgrading from Windows 8. If you're upgrading from Windows 7, you will, because Windows 7 is older, and Windows 10, yeah, it just works better. Yeah. Now, what we will see a performance boost is in DirectX 12 games, which haven't been released yet, but they will be, especially since Windows 10 is now available. So we're going to be seeing a lot of games that are coming out. They're going to utilize DirectX 12, and you can only get this with Windows 10. So you're going to see a performance boost with that. It's going to be able to more optimize your hardware and get more FPS out of older hardware as well as newer hardware. So that's going to be really good. So you're going to want that for sure if you want to play the newer games using DirectX 12 mode. Now, on to the final question. Is Windows 10 worth the upgrade? I have Windows 7 or Windows 8, 8.1. Should I go ahead and install this upgrade? Well, it depends, really. As far as gaming goes, you're going to want to, if you want to play the more new games coming out with DirectX 12, you're just going to want to. I mean, it's just going to make the games run easier. But you have a year or two, so there's no big rush. Want to do that. And of course, if you want VR, stuff like the HTC Vive and Oculus Rift are going to be supported out of the box with Windows 10. I'm not even sure if they're going to be able to run as well on older OSs, so you're really going to want that for VR. Now, as for if you're a non-gamer, you just use your desktop for other things, which is fine, of course. It really depends. If you have 8.1 and you just hate that start screen, by all means, upgrade. Gone. And it's pretty much running like 8.1, except with a few Windows 10 features and nice polish. So that's going with that. And of course, as I said, pretty much all of the programs and all of the devices I use work flawlessly out of the box with Windows 10. Didn't have any issues whatsoever. Though if you have a really old some type of software or a piece of hardware, I would have a look at it because it may not work. But Windows 10 is very flexible, and Microsoft did a whole lot of work to make sure that a whole bunch of things would be compatible with it. But it's really old. I would make sure it works before you upgrade, just in case it didn't work. And of course, you have 1 year to get the free upgrade. After that, you'll have to buy Windows 10 Home, which would be the one you'd be upgrading to if you had Windows 7 or 8.1 standard. It'll cost you $110. So yeah, if you're gonna upgrade, you might as well upgrade. And of course, Cortana is cool, but it's more effective on a phone or a tablet just because of the mobile aspects. So in short, upgrade, but you're not in a big rush. I mean, you're not going to gain a whole lot, but if you really want to, sure, go ahead. But these little minor issues that I had, they will work themselves out, I imagine, relatively soon with a few more patches and updates. So there, anything to worry about that. This is the final version of Windows. Once you have this, you're set for Windows. They're just going to release updates every once in a while. So yes, this is Windows 10. It's working. And yeah, it's actually really cool. I like it. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave your comments down what you think about Windows 10 if you're going to upgrade or if you're going to wait. And be sure to subscribe for me, TheSmooth Spy, if you want to hear more about Windows 10 and everything else when it comes to PC gaming and gaming all around. And a whole bunch of other stuff. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. And of course, take care.